liquor liability in South Carolina, why the rates continuing to go up, and what's being done about it. We're going to discuss that in this video. So if you own a bar or a restaurant in South Carolina, I'm sure you've noticed, and if you haven't, you will soon, that the cost of insurance with regards to liquor liability is drastically increasing. So this goes all the way back to, in 2017, there was a law enacted that basically said that if you have a liquor license, that you're required to carry at least $1 million of insurance in the state of South Carolina. This stemmed from an auto accident where an officer was killed and the person was driving the vehicle. They came from a bar and the bar didn't have insurance. And so this law came about as a result of that. So all these things are good. However, on the backside of that, there's this issue of joint and several liability in South Carolina. And without getting into too many details on this, basically what it says is that if you are a restaurant and you have somebody at your bar drinking alcohol and they leave and they go to another bar and you're responsible, you do what you're supposed to do, you might cut them off or they might be totally fine when they leave your premise, they go to another location, they continue to drink and then they go out and they get in an accident. The law says that they can now go after each one of you in the chain of events that this person was at drinking. So what it does is it not just puts the person that was reckless and responsible, that bar owner at risk, it puts all of them at risk. And so it's unfortunate because you can own a restaurant, you can own a bar, and you can do everything you're supposed to do with regards to, you know, proper pours and measuring and cutting people off when you should, and somebody else doesn't, or the person just is irresponsible on their own, and then you can be liable for that. This also stems back to something called dram shop laws, which that basically at the root of that says that if you serve alcohol, that you can be held liable for any consequences as a result. So you combine all of this together, and what do you have? You have attorneys that now know any accident, any incident that happens in South Carolina, there's a minimum of $1 million of liability insurance sitting there that they can go after. And that's what they're doing. As a result, a lot of carriers are getting scared. They don't like it. They're getting hammered on claims and paying out astronomical amounts of money compared to the premium that they're taking in. So they're pulling out of the state. When more carriers pull out of the state, the fewer carriers that are here writing insurance, the premium for those are going to increase. So what is being done about this? There are proposals right now before the State House and Senate to look at changing this joint and several liability issue and eliminating that with regards to making everybody in the chain of command responsible for the acts of the last location this person was at. As far as the $1 million limit and requirement, I don't believe that's going to change. Personally, I don't believe it should. I think if you're going to serve alcohol, you should be required to carry at least $1 million of liability insurance. I think that's a good change that we made. But when you add it to some of the other laws that were already in place, I don't think everybody thought through what those ramifications were going to be long term. And so that's where things are looking to get adjusted. That's kind of what's causing the increase right now. There's not a lot of markets in South Carolina. You know, you want to make sure that you're working with an agent that has access to everybody that's there, because it can be a big difference between a minimum premium of maybe $15,000 versus a carrier that has a minimum premium of $35,000 or $45,000. And if you're not working with an agent that has access to all of the carriers, you could be spending 2-3 times more than you need to. So if you got any questions on any of this, give us a call, reach out to one of our agents. We'll be happy to help you guys. Thanks.